Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour. Brought to you by the Sky Lounge and Tea, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Ale Hop Brewery Tours, and Jesse Moffett Entertainment. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations and has been recognized by the Sioux Falls Stage Awards with a special distinction for promoting the arts. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Welcome, everybody. So great to have you along, and thank you. I don't say it enough. I say it quite a bit, but I still don't say it enough because all the downloads keep adding up. Everything that you do to help me out is greatly appreciated. You can also help me out by buying me a cup of coffee. DaveHollyHour.com. Go down to the left side of the page. On the bottom, you'll find a little coffee cup, and you could help contribute to the continued success of this show. What's successful about it is the fact that we get to talk to the creatives. We are always chatting and having just great conversations with incredible artists, including this week from Blood Brothers and Christmas Carol, actor Tristan Chasing Hawk. And then from Goodnight Theater Collective's Yuletide Cabaret that opens tonight, Betsy Gorham and Casey Schultz. By the way, a quick thank you before we get rolling with the usual weekend eve things. A thank you to Matt Hasted and everybody at Remedy Brewing Company. They hosted us for this week's Conversations.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day in your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Oh, and a festival it is, my goodness gracious. Toast to the Premiere Playhouse. We were there for opening night a week ago of A Christmas Carol. It was phenomenal. Just amazing. You'll hear us talk about it a little bit when Tristan Chasing Hawk is on in a few minutes. It premiered last week. Get your butt down to the Premiere Playhouse at the Orpheum Theater Center and take advantage of either tonight's show, Friday night, Saturday night, or Sunday matinee. It is the best-selling show for that group in its history. So congratulations. Toasting you all at the Premiere Playhouse from the board and the executive director's ideas to put that show on, and they want to make it an annual event, to the 54 actors that were involved and the dozens of people off stage that were making it all work, because the makeup and costuming and so forth was phenomenal as well. So here's to you, Premiere Playhouse. The Weekend Eve Toast has been brought to you by Ale Hop Brewery Tours. You know what? What a great holiday idea. Get some of your friends together, because you can go to any of the 8 local breweries. You can also go to Glacial Lakes Distillery. They've also added a new feature called Wine Wednesdays. They'll take you to the breweries that serve wine. Now, the best part is they take care of the driving. Very cool van, sits up to 6. Book your private tours online at alehopbrewerytours.com. If you're already out and about on the weekend, though, hop on one of their public tours. For more info about the public tours, call 605-777-2183, 605-777-2183, Ale Hop Brewery Tours, where micro fans meet micro brews. Honorable mention. Oh, have to tell you about another event went to last weekend. Sean Johnson's Big Band Experience was the holiday show that they were having, and boy, did that make me smile. You know, each week we give away a honorable mention to something that we were able to attend or just see It doesn't even have to be arts and entertainment related, but 90% of the time it is. The other 10% is usually about my grandkids. Oh, got to see them too. But anyway, Sean Johnson, who has made Sioux Falls his unofficial hometown now, put on a marvelous, marvelous show. And then he's part of the Tonic Soulful group and didn't get to go to that, but they performed the next night. And so, Sean Johnson, again, congrats. You are a marvel. You have become such a showman, incredible singer. Where you get all that energy, I have no idea. But the man moves, that's for sure. All right, coming up later from Goodnight Theater Collective's Yuletide Cabaret, Betsy Gorham and Casey Schultz. Up next, actor Tristan Chasing Hawk on the Dave Holly Hour.
Sure, they have darts, and you've heard me talk about how ruggedly handsome the trivia host is, but all caps fun never stops at the Sky Lounge and Tea. And fun is best had with your friends enjoying live entertainment, as in live and local. Yeah, the Sky Lounge believes in giving you the best bands, solo artists, and comedians from the area. The Neo Johnsons, Elizabeth Hunstead, Skylar Volks, as well as many others. And a great staff will make sure you enjoy your fun at the Sky Lounge in Tea, South Dakota.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or exokairos.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Happy holidays from everyone at Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everybody. I know you're probably getting sick and tired of me saying this, but it is so fun and such a privilege to provide conversations with new-to-you artists. Although, if you haven't seen this guy, you have missed out. What an incredible actor, Tristan Chasing Hawk. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Dave. How are you today?
I'm very well, and great to have you along. I tell you what, you blew me away in Blood Brothers, the season opener, and we were at that, I believe that was the final show. It was a Sunday matinee, and I've had a few other people on since then that were in Blood Brothers, and I've been telling all of them the same thing, and I think I messaged you because I came out and the whole cast was still in tears. It was that emotional and that powerful of a musical. What was your feeling being in that cast in that?
Oh my goodness. It was my first production since like my sophomore year of high school, and I wasn't really sure what I was signing up for, I guess, in the beginning, but by the end, like you said, we were all in tears. It was an incredible emotional experience, a great exercise in vulnerability with just people that I've really grown to love. And we all still like, I think our last show date was maybe October 3rd or whatever, a Sunday. And just still have kept in deep contact with pretty much everybody in the cast. Still,
you know, that's the thing about local theater that people don't understand is that you end up acting with a lot of people in a lot of different shows, and the network just continues to grow, and it's just so fun. You know, I tell this story a lot too on this show, is the fact that when I started it, you know, I had written down prior to the first day of ever recording, and I had a list of at least 50 names, somewhere around 75 probably is what it really was. But out of those, there's still about 35 I haven't gotten to, because as things come up, you see new talent, you see new people, new groups, and so forth. And it's like, gotta have them on. You know, we got to talk about it. So when we talked about you after the show, because my wife and I always like to compare notes of what we thought of the shows and so forth. And that was just such an incredible cast all around. And I said to Carrie, I said, who would you pick out of that cast for Best Actor? And she said, Tristan.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
thank
and
you,
just because it was an amazing performance. you know what? I got the playbill, and I open it up, and I see your name there, and I see that you're playing the narrator. And I'm going, yeah. You know, and I've never seen Blood Brothers before, so I didn't know what the part of the narrator is. You know, sometimes that'll even be a little bit more off stage. Sometimes it'll be on stage, but just kind of in a corner, and they show a spotlight when it's time for the lines. But you got to act in this, too. It wasn't just being a narrator. In fact, you even had a song, didn't you?
Yeah, I reprised it many times. Yes, absolutely. I felt very similarly when I first, because it's a British play. I don't think it's really well known around here, especially too. And so before, like when we were casted and the list came out and I saw it was the narrator, I thought the same thing. I was like, oh no, I really wanted to get into acting. I really wanted a chance to like do something. And narrator is important in a lot of stories and functions, but this one really, I think had a
you
deep
got
hand.
to act. There's no doubt about that. Every single person in that cast got to act.
Oh yes.
Yeah. No small parts. Remember that. No small parts. What got you into acting to begin with? You said you hadn't done this in sophomore year of high school?
Yeah. I guess I did do a ton of competitive speech throughout high school and college, which is where I primarily got a lot of my training.
Mm-hmm. And in college, it's called forensics.
Yes.
You go to a forensics tournament.
Absolutely. Not to be confused
with forensics with CSI.
Yeah. Some relation, but not much. But yeah, so through my coaches through that, I have had coaches who went to school in Berkeley, or they had friends who I workshop with who graduated from like the Yale School of Drama, just a wealth of talent and different voices and different opinions on acting that I really am thankful for. I think it's a unique experience, a unique sort of background, I guess, even if a bit unconventional. So
yeah, well, I did a lot of speech tournaments and so forth in college and high school, and so I'm very familiar with that format, and that's a lot of my training, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So we got the similarity there, that's for sure. Yes. I love your voice, though, because you have such an incredible range. As you were just speaking right there, here's this nice baritone just with a lot of timbre and so forth. And then you'll get excited about something and it goes up and escalates, and you've still got all the tone and everything you need for a high voice. So it was great to hear you sing, and obviously, great to see you act in that. That's not the only thing you've been in, though. Because recently, in fact, we are in the midst of it. We are, another weekend of it for A Christmas Carol. Premiere Playhouse presents Christmas Carol at the Orpheum Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, once again this weekend. And you played a few parts in that.
Yes.
Tell us what that experience was like.
Oh my gosh, A Christmas Carol has just been such a treat. It's, imagine 54
people in that cast. Yes.
Of just some of the greatest talents and kind and funniest people you can find in Sioux Falls, and then putting them in a play with this magnificent set and beautiful audio and arrangements, and just how much care and thought has really gone into like every step, every process, whether that be through the cast or like the setting or the crew and whatever. So it has been a phenomenal experience.
Well, what I loved about that show, I mean, the whole thing front to back was great. The acting, the set is immaculate. Everything that went along with it was just so fine. And it was great to see the standing ovation at the end. We usually get a standing ovation in this town.
Yes.
When it comes to Premiere Playhouse. But the length of it and how the cast came out before you could tell it was actual curtain call, and they're all together. Mm-hmm. And then there's still the curtain call. And how the curtain call was arranged and how the groups spread out and so forth. And the house just kept coming down the whole time. And so that brought a lot of joy to my heart as we head into Christmas. But it's also got to be great when you're on that stage and you're getting that standing ovation. Don't you just have a bit of an ego that goes, I helped in part of this?
Of course, I think every actor probably has a little bit of an ego at some point, and this past, I think, Sunday show, there were a couple people who I had never seen before who were yelling "Topper." That was one of my
Right,
characters,
one of
by
the
the
characters.
way. Yes, Topper, Topper. And it filled my heart with joy. Yes.
Yeah,
but
I can imagine.
it's great to even hear watching other people go up to and get that same amount of love and respect from the audience too, like watching the Cratchit family or
Right.
watching the Ghost go up and getting that. So there's no end of love, thankfully, but yes, it definitely does help to
Well,
feed the
you,
ego.
you know
a
what
little
was
bit.
fun about this is because at the end of the show, then go home and I start writing bravo to different people, including you.
Mhm.
And then the next morning, I realized I still have half a dozen people to go through here.
Absolutely.
Because there were so many people in that cast, and talent, like you say, is amazing. I think of Marisa Moser. She was one of the
Of course.
Cratchits, the oldest Cratchit girl, and so forth. And I just, I have a great admiration for her anyway. And she's one of those that no matter what part comes along for her, she plays it to the best.
Absolutely.
She really goes there. And it had been a long, long, long time since I had seen Tom Roberts in a production.
Oh, really?
I had forgotten how amazing that man is.
Yes. I mean, from the very first read through, he was just ready to go. Like he could have just, if he it could have been off book,
Well,
could have delivered a performance.
And for those that have not seen it yet, that are going to it this weekend,
Mhm.
I'll just say that the absolute greatest part in this show is when Scrooge realizes how great Christmas is. And the transformation that Tom Roberts as Ebenezer Scrooge makes from boom to boom is phenomenal.
Mhm.
Also hilarious.
Yes. I mean, it's a good mix of like a real emotion of this man
Well,
who's
yeah, and-
undergone this transformation.
And we're all familiar with the Christmas Carol story, but this had so much more character to it, such great intertwining of things, and giving that real good feel, even though it's set in that same time period. Things that are still pertinent to everybody, but then also the humor that came through in this one.
Yes.
And I just thought, wow, what a presentation, what a production.
Absolutely.
So every moment of that very lengthy, my hands got tired, standing ovation, you all deserved.
Yes, pre-ovation and post-ovation.
What has been the reaction? You said that somebody said, "Hey, Topper,"
Mhm.
what do you got out, so forth. How about the rest of the people that you've come in contact with since weekend one of the show?
Oh my gosh, reviews have been great overall. It's nice too. People aren't scared of me after the show like they are or were in Blood Brothers, I suppose. So it's nice just to and even I went out with some of the castmates after I think our Sunday show again, maybe. And no, after Saturday show, and there were people at the bar who came over and were like, "Hey, were you in the play tonight?" And it was like very strange just to have that moment of like, "Oh my gosh, I'm being perceived by like I think $400 or $500 or 500 tickets, every single night."
Right,
And that's
been
gonna
great.
be,
Yeah.
thousands of people by the end of the show. So it's crazy. It's crazy to think about all of that.
All right. So again, that's still going this weekend, A Christmas Carol, and guess what? It's coming back next year. I think it's 4 or 5 years in a row, at least,
Yeah.
that they have it for.
For the
And they're
foreseeable future.
Yeah, they're hoping that it just becomes a solid standard every December, which would be great. And it's just so fun to have seen, because I've lived in this area with the exception of 2 years out of 58.
Oh my goodness.
I've lived in this area, grew up down in Rock Rapids. The big stuff to come to is up in Sioux Falls. And now that I've been living here for a quarter of a century, I've still seen the explosion of the arts and entertainment in this community, and it's so fun and so happy to see, even when it came to COVID. It forced others and artists and entertainers to do something different. And a lot of people, forget that there are many, many people in this community make their living in the arts. And so it got to be a tough time, but to see how things are rearing back is just actually, it puts a smile on my face. And I'm so happy that you are part of it. So what's next for you?
Thank you. It really means a lot. It means more than you know, I suppose. But what's next is I immediately after, like the day after A Christmas Carol starts, I start Stop Kiss for Monstrous Little Theater Company, which is in January, and I'm very excited about it.
Yeah. See, that's another one of those things that came along, Monstrous Little Theater, a few years back. And how fun that is that we get opportunities to be in things like that, to see things like that, and to find that it doesn't always have to be on a big stage.
Yes. Represents like a great wealth of, a variety of voices being showcased through different plays
exactly
that might not be shown by other companies.
Right.
So it's amazing.
I don't like to use the word experimental, but by the same token, like you said, a lot of these people haven't ever seen before.
Yes.
And so it gives them a good chance, and it also gives up-and-coming people like yourself a great chance to even, go from a cast of 54
to a cast of 6.
Yeah, I was going to say, a little smaller here.
Just a little bit, yes. Even about half as much as Blood Brothers, which is, I already thought was a small cast.
True. So. But it's going to be fun and exciting, I'm sure, because it always is anytime Monstrous Little Theater puts on a production. What about other skills that you're looking to gather? How much do you learn from other actors as you go through the process? From first read through to the point where you get off book, blocking, and everything else.
My goodness. Well, I think other actors really shape a lot of my own choices, I suppose, of where or how I believe a character fits in. Almost, I would rather be a puzzle piece to others and work with them while still maintaining, of course, what I think the character also has and working with them and collaborating, of course. But I really, a lot of my process is really based around other people. And even if it is like when going back to speech and debate, of course, you didn't have audience, or you didn't have someone that you're doing stuff with a lot of the time, unless you're doing a duo, which was super fun.
Right.
But a lot of the time, like the audience members would be my cast members, and I just like gauging from their reaction, learning how to like make
Read the
something
room.
hit, yes, or just really like learning how to connect with them and mold the experience around that is a big part of my process. Absolutely. So.
Yeah. What about when it comes to getting into character? At what point does it start before a performance? Are you one of those that you're already in it by the time you get in your car and go to the theater, or once it's the makeup?
I think I am usually ready to go. It's like entering this in like fugu state almost, where you just sort of shirk off reality and just like enter into this character. It might take a line or two if it's like just a cold read or something, but really just it's like putting on a suit and being ready to go and just kind of going for it too. So unfortunate, it took a while to get to that point, just being able to sort of go off and become a character, but it's a skill that I think I've really grown to be successful at, honestly.
I like the fact that you were honest and said that most of people that are actors, anybody that does entertainment, gets in front of a crowd in some fashion, has an ego.
Yes.
And we're not talking about hey, I'm the best that's ever and so forth. But with that being said, then what do you feel you bring to a character or a production? Why should we put Tristan in the cast?
I think something that really sets me apart as a cast member is, well, can I do two things?
Yes.
I suppose
this is a podcast. We have no time restrictions, Tristan.
Okay.
We can do what the hell we want.
You don't want to give me too much time, though, I promise. I think it's actually kind of one thing, too. It's just one concept of like attention, I suppose, of being performative versus natural as an actor, and being able to operate really well within that space and know what a specific role might need. For example, my Blood Brothers performance, I think, had a lot of natural aspects to it, but for the most part, I was like the devil who is just foretelling the foreboding fate awaiting this family for the most part. So it tended to be more performative, but it's something that I think I can do without like making it seem kind of like, I don't know, quiche or something, like versus like what's coming up with Stop Kiss, and what I'm very excited about is to show a little bit more of the naturalistic side, just like focusing on becoming a human, and so you forget that there's actors in front of you pretty much. You think you're just like watching something. And I think that's being able to understand what makes a human being and the sort of rational actions, even if they are irrational, but what's rational for that character, being able to understand that process and like being able to process it emotionally through my body and my face, I think are what I'm going to bring to the table. So
Good answer. I like it.
thank you.
In the meantime, I know that you've had the good fortune to do some world traveling.
Mhm.
What does that bring to you in terms of watching other performances around the world? How does it incorporate into what you bring to the stage in Sioux Falls, South Dakota?
Oh my goodness. I think so often that people tend to limit their media intake to maybe sources that are just from the United States. But there really are a wealth of music and acting and movies and different things that come from other countries. So I think I really appreciate being able to go to other places and understand a culture better. I think it's not just only good for your like general worldview, but I think it's good for, again, part of like watching the human, like I was talking about earlier, like watching how humans interact and like seeing the similarities between like that kind of transcend culture almost even. And then being able to differentiate that like within their own cultures too is a very amazing distinction to see. And I think it makes me more open to other experiences like watching different movies or listening to music that's not in English or things like that. But I really do think make a difference and make a more well-rounded artiste perhaps.
What's been your favorite worldwide stage production that you've seen?
I have not watched a ton of like international stage productions. Unfortunately, it's like mostly just British stuff. A lot of what I do watch are just more media, like movies and things like that. Unfortunately, but I think like in college, I remember going to quite a few cultural productions that were really interesting to watch, whether it be just their own specific cultures, dance, or whether it be a mixture of like dance and song. Not a very specific production, perhaps, but a production nonetheless that I really appreciated, and I think again really exposed me to a lot of new art, which just makes it better.
So the acting, the singing, anything else that's on the art platter?
I am working on some poetry at the moment. I have been a poet for a very long time. In high school, I was like a finalist in a slam poetry competition that was held by the National Speech and Debate Association. And I haven't really done a lot of competing or anything like that since, but I've just been really working on maybe trying to publish something within the next year or so.
Wow.
So,
Well, we look forward to that and look forward to seeing you again on stage and throughout the rest of your career. But there's a couple of questions I always like to ask at the end. And then I'm going to have an additional one because we're heading into Christmas.
all right.
But first of all, when you're not part of the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
I have been really into TikTok recently. And yeah.
I had to because we have a 10-year-old granddaughter.
It's a great media form, and my little sister said it best. I'm like, why don't you watch, like, you don't really watch TV or anything more, like you're focused on TikTok. She's like, TikTok is a new episode every single day, every single hour. It's like just nonstop content generation. It's full of facts, it's full of acting, it's full of singers, it's just full of culture. I feel more connected to like my fellow American and a human being just watching all these TikToks.
So TikTok is the big thing right now.
It is.
Well, I watch it daily, just in case the granddaughter posted something.
Of course.
Yeah. But I'm going to have to follow you now, too.
Of course.
Realize that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And then as well, the other follow-up question I always like is any other hobbies?
Any other hobbies? I have been working recently to, well, I don't know if you'd consider this a hobby, I guess. It's kind of, I just like really working with students in a lot of capacities. So I freelance coach speech and debate right now.
Good for you.
For a college up in Minnesota. Yes, thank
Which
you.
one?
Concordia University, Moorhead. Yes.
So I went to Southwest Minnesota State University.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Still a great speech school, too.
Yes.
an unstopped tradition for sure. Shout
Yeah.
out. And I guess also, gosh, what were we just talking about? Hobbies?
Hobbies.
I was talking about speech. Oh, working with students. Yes. And I am also working with a local group that launched within this past year called Humanity Launch. And they go and they work with students and teachers on different things like mental health or self-esteem,
Awesome.
Which is just amazing. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, again, if you'd consider it a hobby, but I really just enjoy
Yeah.
working with the youth. I think they keep me young myself.
Oh, that's
so.
great. And also then, as we get toward Christmas, what are some of the traditions in your family? What are some of the things that, come to mind immediately for Tristan when it comes to Christmases past?
We will be traveling.
Okay.
We are going to Jamaica
Wow.
the week after Christmas Carol closes. So
Okay.
we like being on a warm beach. So I think when I think of Christmas, a lot of times I think of a beach, or usually I think of a nice intimate moment with my family and just spending time with my immediate family around the Christmas tree. Honestly,
Awesome. Yeah, for me, I've been away from this area only a couple of times during Christmas, and then we have had a few Christmases here without snow. I like the romance of the white Christmas, things like that, and so forth.
Absolutely.
But it still, no matter where you are, as long as you're with your family,
Yes.
family and friends, you have Christmas.
Although it would be better with snow, I do agree.
Yeah. All right, but enjoy those snowy beaches then.
Thank you.
Or you're going to Hawaii and going up to the volcano that got the 12 inches of snow and 100-mile-an-hour winds the other day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe they can let me borrow the snow machine from A Christmas Carol, and then
There
I
you
can just
go.
go from my balcony
Yeah,
or
put
something.
that in and see what the TSA thinks of that on your flight.
Absolutely. I'll let you know how that goes.
All right. Tristan Chasing Hawk, thank you so much. I'm glad we found the time that we could get together and have you on the show. And again, congratulations on everything you've been doing of late. And anybody that has seen you knows the power that you bring, no matter what the character is. And so we're looking forward to your next adventures as well.
Thank you. I appreciate it endlessly.
All right. We'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails on South Minnesota Avenue in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails. Call for an appointment. 605-334-1463.
Happy holidays from everyone at Dave Holly Hour.
Welcome back, everybody. Always a pleasure to introduce you to new talent, but these two ladies today aren't necessarily new talent, just the first time that they've been on this show after me wanting to have them for quite some time. And the reason we get them this time is because, here this comes out on Thursday. Well, guess what starts Thursday night? Yuletide Cabaret, another great production from our friends at Goodnight Theater Collective. And here's half the cast.
Yeah.
Betsy Gorham and Casey Schultz, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, welcome.
Great to have you both along. Betsy, I've been watching you for a long time.
A few years.
Yeah, a few years. And it keeps like, that Betsy, she's cool.
Thank you.
Better get her on the show sometime. And then Casey, been watching you for like the past year.
Yeah.
And then it's like, man, here's a very talented young lady.
Oh, thank you.
And can't
Fact.
wait to chat with her. And so to have the two of you together, this is a great way to start the holiday.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Happy
right.
holidays. Woo woo.
And the holiday starting with Yuletide Cabaret. Whew, it's always a fun show when Goodnight Theater Collective gets together.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Betsy, what's been the most fun for you being associated with Goodnight Theater Collective?
All the things.
Everything, yeah.
Yeah, just the people. There's so many good people, not just talented, but just genuinely the best people. And everyone's so friendly and open and supportive. And I started a few years ago not knowing what the heck I was doing. And I hope I've been able to turn around and pass that on to the new kids as they come up. But yeah, that's what I love about it.
Casey, what about you getting in recently?
Well, I love it. I didn't know that the theater world was so abundant after college. I think that was like a little scary thing, kind of leaving your college and you don't know if you can still perform. And then Goodnight came and was open with their open arms, and they're so welcoming and so talented. It's like scary how talented people are in this town. It's like spooky. And just, they're so kind. They're so welcoming. They're so encouraging. They never want you to feel like you are alone or like you can't do something. They're just always there. So it's super awesome.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I've noticed about the entire arts and entertainment community here is that it's collaborative. It's not competitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, everybody wants their share of the pie, of course, and wants to do well in terms of ticket sales and things along that line. But by the same token, everybody's willing to help everybody out.
Yeah.
And it has to get very interesting schedule-wise for all of you, because you're not necessarily just in Goodnight Theater. You've got other things that you're involved in. But is it worth the time to be in a Goodnight Theater cabaret?
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, and you spend your evenings running through songs and working on dance routines, and it feels impossible when you're juggling, but then you get out there and it's just like, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want it like any other way. Like I was like, oh, after my first cabaret, I was like, oh, I'm done being stressed but having fun. Dang it.
The second it's over, you're like, oh, but I was having fun now.
Right.
Now what can I do with my evenings, you know?
So let's talk about Yuletide Cabaret, this weekend's
Yeah.
show. How many songs are in it?
I think it's like 20.
20 give or take.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
actually a pretty good amount. Now, Betsy, how many songs are you involved in out of those 20?
Most of them. You don't get a lot of breaks.
No, you
most
don't.
cabarets. You're
Yeah.
in the background doing something. If you're not on stage, it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
And same for you, Casey?
Yeah, I would say probably I have maybe like one or two songs when I'm off and like drinking water,
Yeah.
getting something, a new cardigan on or something on, but you otherwise are performing all the time, which is fun.
Well,
Yeah.
and there was one you weren't going to be in, and you're like, but I want to be in that one.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a Jennifer
So-
Hudson song.
So now
Oh,
you're in
J-Hud.
it.
Yeah, I couldn't pass up Ariana Grande, Mariah Carey, and Jennifer Hudson. I couldn't do that. I
Wow.
know. It's a fun
Spoiler
Big stuff
alert.
there.
Yeah, we can't
Well,
tell you what it's
and
about.
you already gave me another spoiler, and so I'm going to do it now, in the fact that there's several Bing Crosby
Yeah.
tunes.
Maybe.
Give or take.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe a little bit.
There's a couple.
And you actually are singing Bing.
Not in the same octave as him. I'm
Right.
not that low, but just a couple different modulations here and there, changing some keys left and right. But it's super fun, and I like to be Bing Crosby,
Yeah. Do you get
Bong
to-
Crispy, if
Bong
we've
Crispy.
coined the term.
Oh, okay.
A little different.
And do you do any whistling like Bing did?
I don't do any whistling, but I do something else, which you'll have to see.
Okay.
You have to come and
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I can't
Find
say it.
out.
It's a showstopper, some may say. I don't know. It's a little surprise that we didn't think we were going to do, and then I said I could do it, and then we put in the show. So you have to come watch it.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. And so, Betsy, you've seen it, from the beginning, and the progression of it. Has it become easier, or is each one about equal in terms of the preparation
Oh,
that you have to put
man.
in, and
I think they're getting harder.
because there's so
But
many different aspects
We're-
are added?
Yeah, you just you're up in the ante a little bit. Like, okay, we proved we could do it this way. Well, what if we add a little more? What if we add a little more? Which it is a challenge, and there are times where we all look at each other and we're like, we're never going to figure this out. And then 2 weeks later, we're all just bam, bam, 1, 2, 3, 4.
How? First of all, auditions take place for Goodnight Theater Collective as a whole long ago,
Yeah.
and then you're chosen from that as to what shows they want to have you in. But you also, take a look at that calendar and say, "Wow, there's pretty well something's going on with Goodnight, basically monthly."
Yeah. From September
September.
to April, May,
Yeah.
June.
Yeah.
Kind of depends on the year.
Right, and so it's good to see that there's so many things, but it's like new themes all the time, except for, Christmas, obviously, you're going to have Yuletide this time, but it's also been Fa La La and different names and obviously different tunes come along each time.
Yeah.
So, Betsy, as you've seen this grow, what has been the most unique part of its growth?
Overall?
Yes.
Oh, man. That's a great question.
I get in one good one every interview.
We found it.
I mean, yeah, like I was kind of saying, just up in the ante, like the choreography that has been added. It used to be like a little, like wave your arms and a twist and like a kick. And now it's, you have to hit this beat and this is serious choreography. For someone who is a non-dancer, that is probably the biggest challenge I've had in my entire life. I was lucky in the last show to have Casey because she was our dance captain. I was like, okay, Casey, tell me what I'm doing wrong, because she has dance experience. And I think that's really elevated the performance. And that goes for like the full musicals and the cabarets. Yeah. So I've enjoyed watching that, if anything. And then the live band.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on.
Live
the
band again.
Band.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that.
Oh, no, once you start, you can't go back from that.
Yeah.
It's
like
so
you were talking
good.
about upping the ante. If we've
Yeah.
done the live band, we're going to have live band now. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
Excellent. That does make a difference, too.
It's just been amazing, the musicians that are coming out of the woodwork. Some of these people I've seen around, and I was like, where did you come from?
Half of our band this time are high schoolers.
Literally high
really?
schoolers.
Well, I know one of the drummer was still taking lessons, and he could have told me that he's been performing his whole entire life. Like I would not. Maybe that says more about me than him, but they're all so talented. It's like scary.
Mhm.
Like where did you come from?
The
Where did
next
you do that?
generation.
Yeah. Well, that's
Crazy.
fun, that Casey's now in it. You've been in it a few years. So, Casey, as you have come into Good Night, have you been surprised by anything?
I've been surprised how awesome everybody is. Not to be a negative Nelly, but I just never knew that so many people were so kind, especially when they don't have anything to gain from their kindness to you, if that makes any sense. Especially after the first cabaret, people coming up to me and just saying really nice things to me without any, like, I didn't need to give them anything. I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It's just, they're just so kind, and I don't know what I did to deserve kindness all the time, which is not sad, but
You're awesome.
Oh, so it's surprising how warm people are, which is a good surprise, not a bad surprise. I don't have any bad surprises. I'm tired a lot. That just comes
Right.
with, I'm 22. I have to be tired, at some point.
Yeah, because you can still sleep 10 hours.
Oh, I don't, but I could.
Well, you
I
could,
could
though.
if I needed to.
Yeah,
I should.
At 58, 5 maybe, and that's between peeing. Yeah. But Betsy mentioned the fact that the last cabaret you were the dance captain. Are you this time as well?
I think you're the unofficial dance captain.
Okay, it's kind
like
of
there's definitely a lot of pow
tagged
pow.
on
1, 2,
you.
turn,
There's
turn.
a lot of pow pow 1, 2. I actually choreographed a couple numbers.
She did. She was just standing in the wings, just dancing along. And we're like, that looks good. Show us that. And then we're going to do that.
No.
Because it was a song that didn't have official choreography. She's like,
Right.
move your arm here and twist there. And Yeah.
Is it always fun to sing Christmas tunes?
the hardest part for me is I'm not one of those people that listens to Christmas music year round. So when we're starting rehearsals for this
Santa
in
does.
like October, it's a little hard for me to get my
Okay.
brain around it. But once I get into it and start to have fun, and usually it's when we have rehearsals and we're with the cast and we start to hear what it's going to sound like, then I can get into it. I'm an old humbug until
Well, the other thing is people look at the cabaret and go, okay, there's 4 people in this one. They're going to be singing a lot, which we already know. Okay. The other thing, though, is that even though you may not be playing characters per se, you're still doing something with each song that's going to make it unique and going to bring it to life.
Yes.
Do you take in a little bit of the acting experience at that point, too? Or is it just, okay, we're going to put on a jacket, we're going to do this, and we're going to dance around a little bit? Or do you get that feeling of, okay, I've got to bring a character to life yet in this song other than my voice?
I think acting, especially with Christmas carols and Christmas songs in general, there's always a story in there. even if it's the same story over and over again, kind of like a Hallmark movie, but you have to add something to it because otherwise you're just singing a song that everybody knows. So I think Martha, our director, has told us really awesome places to walk and to feel and like what should we think here and what put an ornament on the tree over there and maybe look up to the sky over here. Adding something to a song that everybody has heard before is important and I think really needed, especially like this, because you're gonna see people in the audience mouthing the words because they know that song. So how can you add to it with your smile at one point or sitting down in a chair at another point? Add some flair to it.
Yeah, that's a great point. That when it comes to Christmas music, everybody that's in there wants to be there.
Yes.
And not to say that they don't want to be there at other shows, but they want to be there because they love Christmas music. And so they will be singing along. Is there audience participation allowed or encouraged?
I mean, there might be some audience participation in this show.
Okay.
I would love to see somebody singing out there with a little hum or, that was always the nice thing about, with the last Cabaret, I kind of thought it was like a little concert. And so seeing people sing also with like a BTS song, I was like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm BTS and you guys are at a concert with me. I just felt so awesome. So I hope I can see somebody singing their favorite Christmas song because we're also singing it. That's a really cool aspect of it that I didn't think would happen. So I hope I see somebody singing a little bit. It'd be fun.
I'm sure Thursday night you will.
Uh-oh. What day are you coming to the show?
Revoke that man's ticket.
Get that man out of here.
He'll be singing in the front row.
Well, Betsy just took a sip of water, so I'll go back to you then.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, Casey.
Betsy.
What got you into singing?
Oh, gosh. Well, anybody would tell you that I'm, like, so annoying. I talk all the time. I hum all the time. I sing all the time. When I was just a really little kid, and my parents did not like that I was singing in the living room and singing in the kitchen, singing in the bathroom, and singing outside, singing in the Walmart. Like, it was just annoying. So they kind of just got me into theater and production right away because it was like an excuse for me to do that, and they supported me all the way, but they're all like, oh my gosh, girl, shut up, like, why are you still singing? It's 9 p.m. So I think it was just something that was a confidence builder. It didn't matter what I looked like or who liked me or who didn't like me. It was my voice. I couldn't really change it. I can change how my hair looks, I can change how my body looks, but my voice is something that's unique and original to me. And so showing that and getting better at it and loving it was something that really helped with confidence and all that fun stuff.
So they were annoyed. They supported you.
But,
now what do they think when they come see you in a show?
Oh, my dad always cries, which is very cute. Shout out to Wayne and Roxy. My mom's going to love this on Facebook. But I think they're really proud. I would love to think that they're proud. Whenever my mom has a little bit too much Jim Beam and water, she likes me singing Circle of Life, some type of Julie Andrews, anything. I'm kind of their little radio, which I love. But I think that they would say that they're proud of me. Hopefully, Mom and Dad.
I like your mom already, although I'm a Jack Daniels person.
I know.
Yeah, but that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I like that
Grow
though.
some hair on their chest.
Yeah, and then Dad gets a little weepy. Huh?
Oh yes.
Oh, that's a real man, actually.
I cry all the time, which I love. But
yeah, exactly. It's a good emotion to have.
Yes.
Okay, Betsy, now that you've had your drink of water, what got you into singing?
Same sort of thing. I can't remember a time I wasn't singing. Yeah. And I think that's because my whole family is musical. Like my mom is one of 10 kids, and every single one of them played the guitar or the piano or sang or performed. And then my dad was in choir and his brothers were in choir. And so it's something I was always around, community theater growing up. So we'd be like backstage, all the other kids who got dragged to rehearsal with their parents, and we'd know every word and we'd know the choreo. We weren't in the show, but we wanted to participate. And I didn't really start performing like on stage much at all. I was on occasionally through like high school, middle school, kind of local things. But the most performing I've ever done is with Good Night. And that's mostly just because it's here and I saw it and I was like, I want to do that. I want to be a part of that.
Well, we're glad both of you are part of it. I mean, you're both amazing talents, and I love seeing you on stage, no matter what the stage might be and so forth. So Yuletide Cabaret, 7:30 start, I believe?
Yes.
Yes. So tonight, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night show too?
There's
No, but we
No.
are going to be doing kind of a one-off thing in Canton.
Okay.
So, Goodnight was asked to bring a show to their new Performing Arts Center. So we're going to be there on Sunday.
Oh, fantastic.
So kind of a
That's
new
great.
space,
Yeah.
a new.
Yeah.
We're taking it on the road.
Yep.
Ooh, we're on tour.
Yeah,
Excellent.
We don't
Love
really
it.
know what to expect with that one.
There's a
I
billboard
always-
over there somewhere. with our
We've
faces
heard
on
we've
it.
heard there's a billboard or
Oh.
several billboards in Canton with our faces on them. So if anyone
Excellent.
has a picture, so
All right, 2 questions I always like to end with, but we're actually going to have a few more because it's Christmas. So, first of all, when you're not being part of the entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
movies. I
Favorite?
watch a lot of movies. You know, I don't have a singular favorite. I have a lot of favorites.
Okay.
Like last night, I just watched the Winona Ryder version of Little Women.
Oh, yeah.
fun.
I'm just, crying in my basement. I love The Shawshank Redemption.
Great.
So good. But
So
then,
do Watanabe.
I love something a little goofy like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I have varied interests.
Oh, yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
a good movie, I'm here for it.
Right. And what about you?
I would
Miss Casey?
say, I also love movies, but I think just like being with people, I really
Mhm.
like. I love being alone at some points, but I think that my friends and family, when I can see them, are some of the best people in this entire world. So I like to spend as much time as I can with them, especially since life is so crazy. You never know when you can see certain people. You never know when the last day you could see somebody is. You never know. So I try to hold those things dear to my heart.
Yeah.
So I love hanging out with them, with my cat, who's very annoying, watching movies, watching TV, playing games. We love a good Cards Against Humanity.
Oh.
Yeah.
Any of that fun stuff. I know probably every single card in that deck, but it's it never doesn't make me laugh. Like they can different mix and matching.
that's
We
my
have the giant box.
Oh,
the
fun.
massive every pack.
They're
It's
so
so
thing is,
fun.
I love that game because you really don't even care if you win.
no.
Oh my god, it's just so
It's
funny.
just so fun.
We've changed the names of group chats with my friends because
Yes.
we thought something was so funny. And Cards
Soggy
Against
lettuce is
Humanity.
my favorite card. Anytime somebody puts that down, it's soggy lettuce, and that's the funniest thing, and it's so dumb. Like it's why it's so dumb, but it's so fun.
Ours is 1,000 Slim Jims.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
1,000 Slim
Slim
Jims.
Jims.
Oh, good choice.
Any other hobbies?
I really like just like painting. Like I'm not good at it by any means. I'm not very good. I like to just do like arts and crafts. Again, not very good. Any friend that is going to listen to this, hearing that I like arts and crafts, are going to be like, "Girl," I don't like. I start projects and I never finish them, and then I finish them later.
You're a
But-
dabbler.
Oh yes, but while I'm in it, I'm like, "Ooh, I'm Picasso. I can do this puzzle in a second. I can write this novel," and I never do. But the fact that I start it is good enough for me. And I'm like, okay, and now I can go watch New Girl on Netflix for the 3rd time. Like it's
Yeah.
super fun.
All right, Betsy, what other hobbies?
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I'm a little bit of a dabbler with like I'll draw a little, I'll color a little, I'll pick up a craft and say I'm gonna learn to embroider, and then I'll do that for 10 minutes. But I'll only get to acceptable, and then I'm like, I have mastered this craft. Next craft.
Next craft.
I love trying new things. Whether I'm good at it or not is irrelevant. If I can get okay at it, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, excellent. All right, so now on to the Christmas things.
Ooh.
Since it's, Yuletide Cabaret, favorite Christmas song or songs?
Ooh.
You are allowed plural.
I love Oh Holy Night. That's the song.
It's hard not to pick
I know.
that.
We sang
It's
it
so
all
good.
throughout high school. It was a tradition that the orchestra, the band, and the choir always sang it and always performed it. So I think it was always kind of a love of mine from 9th grade. But I think it's just like there's so many ups and downs to it. It's just so beautiful. I always cry when I listen to it. Otherwise, Mary Did You Know, especially from the
that is-
Pentatonics,
Mhm.
that is a great rendition of that song. I think you can't really go wrong.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas.
Oh,
The
good one.
Judy Garland one.
Yes.
Because there's so many emotions. It makes you happy and sad. And it's just
Yeah.
like I'm smiling and crying
Yeah,
at the
and-
same time.
And that whole theme about, maybe next year,
Yeah.
all our troubles will be out of sight. And that hits me hard every
Yeah.
year when I
Yeah.
hear that part.
Yeah.
But otherwise, for me, I love a lot of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra stuff,
Oh,
Yeah.
especially the one that is mostly played. And then there's an old Mary Clooney tune called The Christmas Waltz.
Oh, yes, a good classic.
I love that.
We have kind of sad Christmas songs, I've just realized. Well, except for the Christmas Waltz, we're all kind of like,
They're classics, though.
Well, I love the line in Christmas Waltz about Rosemary Clooney. I think it said Mary Clooney. Rosemary Clooney. But the line that I love is that it's that time of year when the world falls in love.
Yes.
And I just love that aspect of Christmas and the holidays and, being with family, being able to be together. Tristan Chasing Hawk was on earlier. And as we were talking about, favorite Christmas things and, what it really means, because he's going to be at a beach for Christmas.
Lucky guy.
And I told him, I said, out of my 58 years, I've only not lived in this area, 2 of those.
Yeah.
And only been away for Christmas 3 times.
Wow.
And one time there was no snow where we were, and that was different, but it was still Christmas.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter as long as you got your family and your friends, or as I like to call it, framly.
Your family,
If
yes.
you got your framly,
That's right.
and people that you care about, and you get some time to relax and just enjoy,
Yeah,
then it's a Merry Christmas.
it is.
Yeah. And I wish the 2 of you Merry Christmas.
Thank you, you too.
All right. And thank you so much for being on the show. Appreciate it greatly. And I'm looking so forward to Yuletide Cabaret.
Whoop, whoop.
Us
Thank
too.
you.
All right. And we'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Hi, my name is Jesse Moffett, and I'm not a piano player. I'm a comic magician and hypnotist. I've been performing for over 20 years. I've performed at many events, corporate events, holiday parties, post-prom parties, graduation parties, state and county fairs, festivals, just about anything you can imagine. The funniest thing about the Magic Act is that I use a ton of audience participation, and that can make things really interesting. Put it down the front of your shirt. So I'm not, my hand won't follow. The best thing about the hypnosis show is that the volunteers and their imaginations really make it a blast.
Holy crap, dude, did you see what you just did? You could do that possibly to girls.
For booking information, go to Jesse Moffett Entertainment on Facebook. That's JESSEMOFFITT. Or call 605-929-0964. From the Dipsy Doodle Studios at the world headquarters of Big D Entertainment, a 40-square-foot home studio in the middle of America, it's Dave Holly.
It's thank you time. Thank you for listening to episode number 109 of the Dave Holly Hour. Certainly appreciate all that you do when it comes to sharing, when it comes to liking, when it comes to, joining the page on Facebook. Don't forget we're on Instagram, also on Twitter. So the social media is covered, and if anything else, make sure you go to davehollyhour.com, and so much you can take a look at. One of the great features, we switched over to a different provider for the internet, for the website a couple of months back, and I'm loving it. It's much easier for me, takes a little load off me, but it's got a search feature. First of all, every single episode is on there, and then when you go to that episode page, you can take a look at that search bar. Let's say you're looking for a particular artist or a particular group. Put that in there. It'll give you all the episodes that they happen to be in. I love that. Well, we certainly love the fact that for episode number 109, we had Tristan Chasing Hawk from the wonderful Premiere Playhouse. He was in Blood Brothers, did a marvelous job, and then he had some fun playing various parts in Christmas Carol. Don't forget, Christmas Carol is still playing tonight, tomorrow night, Saturday night, and Sunday afternoon matinee. Also, thank you, Betsy, Gorham, and Casey Schultz from Goodnight Theater. Thank you. We're going to be seeing you in opening night tonight for the Yuletide Cabaret. Also, thanks to Matt Hasted and everybody at Remedy Brewing. Needed a place. We weren't able to record at Our Wine Bar last week because they had a private party. So our interviews and our great conversations were thanks to Remedy Brewing. Nice little setup we were able to put there, too. Okay, next week, it's going to be the last show before a 2-week holiday break. Guests are going to include Christian singer Elizabeth Ennals, She even sings a little of Oh Holy Night for us. And the oldies band, the 1270s. Looking forward to that. Heard them recently at the tree lighting for the Washington Pavilion. That was right prior to the Parade of Lights a couple of weekends back. Okay, so what's going on for moi? As mentioned, my wife and I will be headed to Yuletide Cabaret tonight. Now, tomorrow night, we're going to be taking in Improv Falls. That's at Boss's Comedy Club. Saturday night, the fashionista of this podcast, Elijah Stace, also known as Pinto. It's his birthday Saturday, so we're doing some fine dining in the city of Sioux Falls. We'll be going to the South Dakota Symphony Orchestra for their holiday party, or not holiday party, but their holiday concert, I should say. And we're probably going to cap the night off by heading over to Rowena for some Crazy Frank karaoke. What a mashup that is. Symphony, then karaoke. All right, and then Sunday, if you have some little ones, or maybe you just want to meet Santa himself, the Holly Jolly Santa is going to be at Granite City for brunch from 11 to 1. Lots going on this time of year. Let's make sure we keep it safe and happy for the holidays. And for me, I'm Dave Holly, and every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by the Sky Lounge and Tea, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, Ale Hop Brewery Tours, and Jesse Moffett Entertainment. If you would like to contribute to the continued success of this podcast, go to davehollyhour.com. At the bottom of the front page is the additional links section. Click on the orange button, Dave Holly on Linktree. You can order merchandise, become a Dave Holly Hour VIP, and make contributions to the show. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.